What happened in Venezuela after the United States had strike? Donald Trump says United States has captured Venezuelan President Maduro amid large-scale strikes. President Donald Trump said the United States has carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and captured its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, and his wife. The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This is what President Donald Trump said in social media. What Attorney General of the United States said. Maduro indicated in New York on drugs and weapons charge. U.S. Attorney General. We can now bring you some comments from U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who said that Maduro and his wife have been indicated in the Southern District of New York. Maduro, she says, has been charged with narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices against the United States. They will soon face the full wrath of American justice on American soil in American court, Bondi added, but does not say what his wife has been charged with. A huge thank you to our brave military who conducted the incredible and highly successful mission to capture these two alleged international narco traffickers, she added. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the UK was not involved in any way in the US operation in Venezuela, but is seeking more information before commenting on it. Starmer said he has not spoken to President Trump about the US capturing of President Nicolas Maduro. No, I have not, and it is obviously a fast-moving situation and we need to establish all the facts, he said in a remark recorded for UK broadcaster. The Prime Minister added, "What I can say is that the UK was not involved in any way in this operation, as if he will condemn the action as a number of UK MP, some from Labour left and some independent, already have." Starmer said, "I want to establish the fact first. I want to speak to President Trump. I want to speak to allies. As I say, I can be absolutely clear we were not involved in that." We went on, as you know, I always say and believe we shall uphold international law, but I think at this stage, fast-moving situation, let's establish the facts and take it from there. Commenting on the application for UK citizens in the South American country, Starmer said there's about 500 there in Venezuela, and we are working with the embassy to make sure they are well looked after, safeguarded, and get appropriate advice, and we are working at pace with embassy on that. It is a small number, but it's an important number, so that is what we are doing there. US announced drug terrorism charge against Venezuela President Maduro. The United States of America on Saturday announced drug and terrorism charge against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. This comes after US forces captured Maduro following a large-scale military strike on the South American country. The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with US law enforcement, Trump announced on Truth Social. Trump added that he will give a news conference at 11 a.m. The United States struck several assets, including high-profile military and infrastructure sites, during the operation that resulted in the capture of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro. The targets were Liguria Port, the most important seaport in Venezuela, the Herod Airport, an air base in Miranda State, and La Calota, the most significant air base in Caracas. Others included Forte Tuana, a military complex in the capital, El Volcan, an antenna signal site, and the Hotel de la Montana Barrack, a military base housing the late Hugo Chavez Mausoleum. The midnight offensive was the first U.S. direct assault on Latin American soil since the invasion of Panama in 1989, which deposed military leader Manuel Noriega under Operation Just Cause. The Maduro takedown was conducted by the U.S. Army First Special Force Operation Delta Force, an element of the 160 Special Operation Aviation Regiment, Night Stalker. The Venezuelan government has declared the United States action an illegal unilateral act of war and has imposed a nationwide state of emergency. Military detachments have been stationed across the capital after Defense Minister Vladimir Padrano Lopez announced a mass deployment of force. A 63-year-old Maduro was succeeded Chavez in April 2013. He is expected to stand trial in America, where he is accused of international drug trafficking. The U.S. insists Maduro leads Cartel de los Sols, a foreign terrorism organization while running a narco state and devastating the country's economy along with colonies. Last month, the State Department announced additional sanctions targeting Maduro nephews, two of whom are convicted narco traffickers. Colombian President Gustavo Petro said Saturday he ordered the deployment of military forces to the Venezuela border following U.S. strike that, according to Donald Trump, ended with the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Petro described Washington's action as an assault on the sovereignty of Latin America and said they would result in a humanitarian crisis. While proposing that the situation could be resolved through dialogue, the leftist president said on X that he had also ordered the deployment of the security forces to the Venezuela border. Petro made no mention of Maduro capture, despite the Venezuelan leader being one of his government's closest allies in the region. Earlier, the Colombian leader had requested an immediate meeting of the Organization of American States, OAS, and the UN to establish the international legality of the aggression by United States. Colombia holds a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council this year, which led it to call for the body to be convened. Pedro has been a vocal critic of military deployment order by Trump in the Caribbean to fight alleged drug trafficking vessels. Pedro added in other posts to social media that he has put measures in place to preserve stability at the border. An AFP reporter observed normal conditions at the main crossing between the two countries. Defense Minister Pedro Sanchez said the security force had activated all capacities to prevent any attempt terrorism attack at the border by illegal groups such as the National Liberation Army. As part of his anti-drug strategy, Trump recently said he will not rule out striking drug production laboratories in Colombia, which Pedro condemned as a threat of invasion at the time.